Run.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's On the Run. And yes, I'm still in Macau. I'll be here until late January, just after Chinese New Year, and then the Q1 run will begin. The plan is through February and March to go to Hong Kong for a week, then over to the UK for ICE, which will be very exciting in the second week of February. Once that's finished, I actually plan a short run down to France, back to the UK, to watch some football, down to Australia. I'll be in multiple cities in Australia, then Cambodia for a little while, Singapore, Malaysia, then over to the Philippines, a few weeks in the Philippines, and then back to Macau around the end of the quarter, or perhaps even early the following quarter. So the big news for the whole industry right now is that Macau is back. Yes. Macau has undergone an amazing transformation, a complete 180, as I'm sure you're all aware of. And we're back up to about, let's say, 33%-ish on pent-up demand in terms of visitation. Revenue might even be a little better because probably the time wasters aren't coming, just the real players are coming. We had 100,000 visitors roughly in the first 3 days since January the 8th. Everything opened on January the 8th. The ferry started running again, not fully ramped up. I think roughly about 6 trips a day, just daytime trips at the moment for the ferries from Hong Kong to Macau. But as I actually mentioned to one of my earlier on the runs, I think Hong Kong is going to be a very important feeder market, in some ways more than mainland China for a little while, a little bit back like in the 90s. Hotel rates are soaring. There are people around town. When I'm walking around town, around Macau, I'm seeing mainlanders. I'm seeing Hong Kong people. I'm seeing people wheeling bags around. It's just like the old days. It's fantastic. But this turnaround has been so abrupt and so sort of breakneck speed that in some ways it's caused some difficulties for the operators, staffing issues. A lot of staff aren't ready. People have got COVID. People are still looking after relatives who have got COVID. Heads are still full of cobwebs from 3 years of not really doing very much. So it's going to take a while to ramp up. In fact, in some ways, I feel like it will be a sort of like a ramp up of a new casino. It usually takes about 3 quarters. So let's see what happens. JP Morgan revised their revenue estimates up to 35% or more than 35%, they said, for Q1 of mass revenue. And they think more than 50% for Q2. I don't know about that. I think what we're seeing at the moment is pent-up demand. I think we're going to see that filter through the system for perhaps 3 quarters. Remember, China's still got an economy in a mess. It's still in a post-COVID zero recovery itself. So I think there are a lot of issues yet to be resolved, a lot of things to be worked out in terms of getting back to full operational capacity. But who cares? The main thing is the doors are open and players are back. So that's great. And that was always going to have to happen. We were always going to have to go through a ramp-up process and a cleaning out process. Some players might be a little disappointed and unhappy with their experience right now because it's busy and the casinos aren't so ready, but doesn't matter. It'll get back to the new normal, whatever that is, fairly soon. I guess we'll know that after Chinese New Year comes and goes and we have another month or so, perhaps in February, March, maybe even early April, we'll really get a sense of what the new demand is. So anyway, that's the Macau is back. A couple of other stories from Macau. We launched our Macau CSR brand this week. So if you haven't subscribed for free to that, please do go to macaucsr.com and you can sign up for either our English or Chinese newsletter, which comes out once a week on Wednesdays. The DICJ announced that the slot standards, the technical standards 2.0, the deadline is going to be delayed for 2 years. Probably a really good decision by the DICJ, given the recovery we're in at the moment, and the new licenses, or the new concessions, I should say, and the ramp up we have to go through, getting those technical standards in place and replacing those machines are probably the least of their problems right now. But overall, it's a good idea. A fun story on Hong Kong during the week that got a lot of traction. Hamsters back on the wheel. Yes, hamsters. Hamsters are back. You didn't think IAG would be writing about hamsters, did you? But we are. And yes, we apologize. The picture in the story was actually a gerbil, not a hamster. Mea culpa, and we're very sorry about that. And we have unreservedly apologized to both the hamster and gerbil communities of the world for the error. So, we were told that the hamster community would be very unforgiving of such a grave error, but it looks like we seem to have got past it. So it's great to see hamsters back in Hong Kong, allowed to come in, but they are still being tested for COVID, unlike humans. All right, what else have we got here on the rundown? Thailand. Yeah, interesting. So it really looks like this Thai thing is going to happen. They're looking at casinos being 5% of the total IR floor, and with minimum income requirements. I think it was 15,000 US in the bank for 6 months to play if you're a local. So it looks like there is development coming along. Bangkok is being talked about. Pattaya is being talked about. So, gee, isn't that interesting? And I think a big Thai property, somewhat similar to Marina Bay Sands, would go gangbusters. Finally, we will all be at ICE London. Yes, 4 people from the IAG team, including yours truly, will be in ICE London. First time in 3 years, so we're really excited about that. February 7, 8 and 9 in London at the Excel Centre. And please come visit us at our booth. Our booth is ND7C, is our booth number. We'd love to see you there. So that's it for this week. That's the rundown. That's on the run for this week. 2 more to come from Macau, and then 1 from Hong Kong. And then the next one on the following Friday will be from London. And we will see you next week for On the Run. Bye for now. See ya.
Run.